Crypto Kids, I want you to watch out on a few different Bitcoin charts. So we have the Bitcoin price on the 4-hourly time frame about to hit our level of support that we talked about this morning at 11.9. I will rediscuss why that level is super important. Then I have a little bit of news for you, which I honestly, it's not the best thing to talk about, but we do need to put this specific bear case on the table just so we're comfortable with it and assess how we will take steps to make sure that we don't get trapped if this bear case does become reality. And sadly, the probabilities of it becoming reality have gone to the upside. And that's why I want to finally address this chart, not in a bullish way, but in a bearish way. So stay tuned. And we will also cover Ethereum and the massive amounts of liquidity. We're about to hit almost $8.2 billion worth of liquidation leverage will be triggered in just a few dollars time. It will be phenomenal for Ethereum. So I want to mention that to you. And we can end off with some MSTR. Obviously, guys, I decided to buy the first stock ever in my life. And as soon as I buy it, bad things happen to it. And it's mostly caused by the MNAV news, which I will share with you in a sec. But guys, if that sounds interesting, make sure to destroy the like button and subscribe to the CryptoKid channel for not even daily. We make like 2 videos a day at this point. It's just the bull market. It's how it is. So if you want more of this content, then destroy the subscribe button, destroy the like button, and turn on the notification bell for constant updates whenever it is necessary. With that said, let's jump into the price action for Bitcoin on the 4-hourly time frame and make our way to the higher time frames. On the 4-hourly, the 11.9 is very important. We've created an all-time high on the 22nd of May, and we found resistance at 11.9, got rejected. It took Bitcoin 1.5 months to find that level again, see a correction, and then blast through it, pumping by many thousands of dollars in a very short amount of time, and eventually hitting $123,000 to create the first all-time high above 120K. We then saw a pretty sharp rejection. We found support again at that same exact level, and that support on its own pushed Bitcoin to another brand new all-time high at 124. After that, though, we got a bit of a bearish divergence, Bitcoin CME gap, yada, yada, yada. We expected the drop, and Bitcoin is now at 113, awaiting, in my opinion, the 11.9 territory to try and see a bounce. You're saying, okay, at that point, CryptoKid, isn't Bitcoin going to create a double top? And I would tell you, yeah, you're absolutely right. But this is the CME chart. On the spot price, it's going to look like the same. We will create a double top, but we will also be bouncing from, or trying to bounce after hitting it, the prior resistance of the massive inverse head and shoulders pattern. And very sadly, guys, what I want you to watch out is if Bitcoin closes below that support line of 11.9, we will be losing this support of the prior resistance. We'll be losing support in a massive scale in general. And on top of that, we will confirm a breakdown of this rising wedge, and it jeopardizes the whole relationship of the M2 money supply with Bitcoin. So in reality, this 11.9 level is so significant, I can't even put it to words. We really need to be careful here. And if Bitcoin does see that drop, that video is going to be a scary one to watch. I hope it doesn't happen while I'm traveling, because I'm going to board a 10-hour flight in just a few hours time. So I hope that if it's going to happen, it won't happen then. But yeah, it's scary indeed. I just like, let's hope for a bounce at 11.9. And at the event that we see a drop, then we can reevaluate. The only scenario where this Bitcoin bull market cycle could be ending now is the following. And I'm going to have to say it because the multi-cycle resistance, yes, we broke above it tremendously. We hit 124 as an all-time high. But actually, if you redraw it in a particular way, you're still technically below this line of resistance. And every single cycle, Bitcoin has topped at that line of resistance. Even if you draw it opportunistically, like I've done so, you can still argue that we're below it. And you can argue that this could be the end for the cycle. And the only case, I'm still believing in the M2 money supply correlation. That's why I'm not closing any of my long positions on Bitcoin. Still very bullish. The only point on Bitcoin where this could be the end of the cycle is going to resonate from one thing and one thing only. This cycle is different. How? This cycle is different because for the first time, Bitcoin created a brand new all-time high after a halving. We usually create a Bitcoin all-time high before a halving event. Did I say that wrong? Okay, let's find the halving for Bitcoin. Halving was the 21st of April, 22nd of April, so that's 2024. Let's just make sure that I'm saying facts here. Bitcoin 2024 halving dates. Okay, Bitcoin 2024 halving dates. It was on April the 19th. I think it was 21 because I remember, yeah, you guys probably know. April 19, 2024, according to this website, was when the Bitcoin halving was. So let's just say that that was the date. I'm sure in some sort of time zone, it was the 19th of April. If we go to the week of the 19th of April, there it is. That's not an all-time high. The all-time high was created basically exactly 30 days before the halving date. So for the first time in history, Bitcoin created an all-time high before a halving by a time difference of 1 month. So you guys know, Bitcoin always tops out when you remove the Genesis cycle, 515 to 535 days post-halving. Since this cycle, it's different because we created an all-time high a month before the halving. If you reduce that average time by 1 month, it brings you to basically now. So the only possible scenario where Bitcoin is truly topped out is if what I'm saying here happens to be the reality and we start dropping aggressively. There's still very good linear support where we are. There's still so many signs pointing to a bullish way. But if Bitcoin breaks below 11.9, then we're going to have to talk differently. So that's the Bitcoin analysis, guys. I don't want to tire you so much with my bearishness. So let's move on to Ethereum. Ethereum is about to claim approximately $8.2 billion in liquidity. If we dump just a little bit more, I think it's going to happen. I think, we've dumped this much, right, of the head and shoulders. I definitely think we're going to claim that liquidity. And if you want to be adding to Ethereum positions with very low leverage and margin, now could be a place where you can slowly DCA. But the major point where I'm going to add more to my Ethereum positions with a lot more capital is going to be at the 3.9 to 4K level. If we can see that as a retest, the head and shoulders does point to a 4K to a 3.9K Ethereum. Liquidity is still lying more to the downside. So a retest to that level, the level which Ethereum couldn't break out of for so many years, seeing that as a support line, confirming it as support would be so amazing. And I think it could be an amazing setup to long Ethereum all the way to potentially $8,000. So that's my Ethereum outlook. And the final point for today is MSTR. MSTR, unfortunately, is creating a weekly double top and is breaking below a short-term double top. And my target for MSTR is all the way down at 250, sadly, and potentially even more to the downside because this MNAV news to me is pretty horrible. So if you look at the MNAV, so let me explain this to you. We did a full explanation on the Moonship, but let me explain it to you also. Basically, MSTR will only acquire a good amount of Bitcoin or Bitcoin in general, from my understanding, when the MNAV is between 2.5 to 4x. It's 2.5 to 4x or above 4x, and they will acquire a lot of Bitcoin if the MNAV is above 4x. But below 2.5x, they're basically only going to be acquiring very, very small amounts of Bitcoin. Over on Sailor Tracker, you can see that all of the recent purchases have been very, very small comparatively to what MicroStrategy is used to buying. The amount of Bitcoin accumulation is very low. And it appears to be that, we may follow this for a while unless Bitcoin has another exponential rally. The MNAV is only 1.5x at the moment. And for us to go into the 4x regions, I think Bitcoin has to pump a lot. And if we don't do that, then MSTR dies. So it's looking a bit interesting, and not the best of things. I think the whole treasury company boom is slowly trying to come to an end. If you look at MetaPlanet, that's also crashing to the downside. Very sad. It was obvious, but it's very sad that it's over so soon. And the next few weeks will be very interesting to go over. Do I still believe in altcoin season? I think it will happen in Q1 of 2026 when the rates are cut. But after March, then it's not so certain. But anyways, guys, I'm sorry for this video. Sometimes the water is sometimes not as clear as it was yesterday or the day before. Sometimes the water is a bit more is a bit more blurred. And that's one of those days that we're in. Sometimes you just can't see clearly enough. And all we have to do is stay a bit more alert, a bit more cautious, and watch out for the Bitcoin 11.9 level, or the $11,900 level. So with that said, guys, thank you so much for watching. See you most likely in 24 hours time, because I'm going to be traveling soon and it's going to be a long trip. But yeah, guys, take care. And if there's anything urgent that happens, I'll be available in the Telegram community. You can join for free. It's linked in the description below. So take care. And as always, bye, bye, bye.